All right, everyone, welcome back to AI Paper Podcasts. Today, we're diving into a paper that's making waves in the AI for science world towards an AI co-scientist.
It's a pretty bold claim, right? An AI that can actually be a scientist.
Exactly. And you know me, always skeptical, but this paper really digs into the nuts and bolts of how they built this system. And the results are pretty mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing might be an understatement, especially when you consider they actually put this AI co-scientist to the test in real-world biomedical research.
Okay, so for our listeners who are just tuning in, let's give them the TLDR. What's the big deal about this paper? What are the key takeaways?
So the researchers developed an AI system using Google's Gemini 2.0 model. Now, this isn't just another language model churning out text. It's designed as a multi-agent system, where each agent specializes in a specific task, kind of like having a team of AI experts working together.
So it's not just one AI brain, it's like a whole AI research lab.
Exactly. And get this, they designed it to follow a process, similar to the scientific method. There's an agent that generates hypotheses. Then another agent acts as a critic, evaluating those hypotheses and suggesting refinements. They even have a ranking agent that prioritizes the most promising hypotheses using, get this, the Elo Rating System, like in chess.
Hold on. An Elo rating system for hypotheses. That's wild. But does it actually work? Like, does it lead to real scientific discoveries?
That's the crazy part. They put it through its paces in 3 different biomedical applications: drug repurposing, finding new drug targets, and even tackling antimicrobial resistance. And in each case, the AI co-scientist generated some seriously impressive results.
Give me an example. Did it actually cure cancer or something?
Well, not quite cure cancer, but in the drug repurposing experiment, it identified a drug called KIR-A6 as a potential treatment for a type of leukemia called AML.
Now, what's remarkable is that this drug had never been tested for AML before. The AI, after sifting through tons of data, made this connection. And guess what? When they tested it in the lab, KIR-A6 actually showed promising results in killing those leukemia cells.
Whoa, that's huge. So we're talking about an AI potentially uncovering new treatments that humans haven't even thought of.
Exactly. And that's just one example. The AI co-scientist also nailed it in identifying new targets for treating liver fibrosis, and even came up with a hypothesis about antibiotic resistance. That matched what scientists had already discovered through years of research.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this paper is causing such a stir. An AI that can actually replicate and even potentially surpass human discoveries. That's a game changer.
Well, let's unpack this a bit more.
Yeah.
You mentioned this multi-agent system. How does that actually work in practice?
So imagine this. You feed the AI a research goal, like find new treatments for liver fibrosis. The hypothesis generation agent gets to work, churning out potential explanations and treatment ideas based on its vast knowledge of scientific literature. Then the critic agent steps in, playing devil's advocate, challenging those hypotheses and suggesting improvements. It's like having a built-in peer review process happening right inside the AI.
It's like those internal debates we have as scientists, but on AI steroids.
Exactly. And once these hypotheses have been through the ringer, the ranking agent steps in, using the Elo system to rank them based on their potential. This ensures that the most promising ideas rise to the top.
It's like a scientific tournament happening inside the AI. So is this all happening in a black box? Do human scientists have any say in the process?
That's one of the coolest parts. They designed this system with an expert-in-the-loop approach. That means human scientists can interact with the AI at every stage. They can refine the research goal, provide feedback on the AI's suggestions, and even introduce their own hypotheses into the mix.
So it's not about replacing human scientists. It's more like giving them a superpowered research assistant.
Exactly. This AI is designed to augment human capabilities, not to make us obsolete. It can handle the heavy lifting of data analysis and hypothesis generation, freeing up human scientists to focus on the bigger picture, interpreting results, designing experiments, and making those crucial leaps of scientific intuition.
This is where it gets really interesting. The researchers actually took those AI-generated hypotheses and tested them in real-world lab experiments. They didn't just stop at the computer simulators. They wanted to see if this thing could actually lead to real-world discoveries.
Spill the tea.
You have to wait until part 2 to find out. We'll be back with more on this groundbreaking paper, Towards an AI Co-Scientist.
Welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were on the edge of our seats wondering if this AI co-scientist could deliver on its promise in real-world experiments.
Right. It's one thing for an AI to spit out hypotheses, but quite another to see those ideas translate into actual scientific breakthroughs. So did this AI co-scientist pass the lab test?
In a word, yes, the paper details several instances where the AI suggestions were not only validated, but actually led to exciting discoveries.
Okay, give us the juicy details. What kind of experiments did they do?
Well, let's start with the drug repurposing experiment. Remember KIACE, the drug the AI identified as a potential treatment for AML.
Oh yeah, the one that had never been tested for leukemia before.
Right. They took that AI-generated suggestion and actually tested it on human AML cells in the lab. And what they found was remarkable. KIA6 effectively inhibited the growth of those leukemia cells.
So it wasn't just a theoretical possibility. AI actually helped uncover a potential new treatment for leukemia.
Exactly. And remember, this was a drug that had already been approved for other uses, meaning it could potentially be fast-tracked for clinical trials in AML patients.
That's a huge win for the AI co-scientist. Did they have similar success in the other experiment?
Absolutely. In the liver fibrosis experiment, the AI identified several novel drug targets, those specific molecules that play a key role in the disease process.
Right, like finding the weak spots in the disease.
Yeah.
That we can attack with drugs.
Exactly. And when they tested these AI-identified targets in the lab, using human liver cells and organoids, several of them proved to be directly involved in the development of liver fibrosis.
So the AI wasn't just throwing out random molecules, it was pinpointing targets. That could potentially lead to new treatments.
Right again. And get this, some of those targets could potentially be targeted with existing drugs, opening up the possibility of repurposing those drugs for liver fibrosis.
So the AI is a multitasker, finding new uses for old drugs and helping us discover entirely new targets.
Exactly. And then there's the antimicrobial resistance experiment, where the AI was tasked with understanding how these mobile genetic elements called CFP-ICIs contribute to the spread of antibiotic resistance.
Okay, remind us what those CFP-ICIs are again. I remember they're involved in antibiotic resistance, but the details are a little fuzzy.
No problem. Think of them as tiny packages of genetic information that can jump between bacteria, carrying genes that make the bacteria resistant to antibiotics.
Like little USB drives, full of resistance genes that bacteria can swap.
Perfect analogy. And the problem is, these CFP-ICIs can exist across multiple species of bacteria, meaning resistance can spread like wildfire.
Yikes. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
So how did the AI help us understand this process?
They gave the AI access to a massive database of bacterial genomes and asked it to figure out how these CFP-ICIs were spreading. And what it discovered was pretty mind-blowing.
Drum roll, please.
The AI found that these CFP-ICIs interact with specific structures on bacterial viruses called phage tails, and this interaction helps them transfer to new bacterial hosts.
So they're hitching a ride on viruses to spread their resistance genes.
That's exactly what the AI figured out, and what's even more incredible is that this discovery actually mirrored findings that human scientists had already made through years of painstaking lab work.
So the AI independently came to the same conclusion as human experts. That's pretty impressive.
It's a testament to the power of AI. To analyze complex data and uncover hidden patterns that might escape even the most seasoned human scientists.
And did the AI stop at just identifying this mechanism? Did it offer any potential solutions for tackling antibiotic resistance?
It did. Building on its understanding of how these CFP-ICIs spread, the AI suggested several strategies to combat this problem.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, one suggestion was to develop drugs that block the interaction between CFP-ICIs and phage tails, essentially preventing them from hitching a ride and spreaders.
Disrupt the transportation system, so to speak.
Exactly. Another suggestion was to target specific genes within those CFP-ICIs that are essential for their survival or transfer. Basically disarm those resistance elements.
Clever. It sounds like this AI co-scientist is a real problem solver, not just a data cruncher.
Right. It's demonstrating that AI can not only replicate, but potentially surpass human capabilities in scientific discovery. It's a paradigm shift in how we approach research, and it has far-reaching implications for every field of science.
This is all incredibly exciting. But I'm also wondering, what about the limitations? No system is perfect, and AI is certainly not immune to bias or errors.
Yeah.
Did the researchers address any potential drawbacks of this technology?
They did. In fact, they dedicated a whole section of the paper to discussing the limitations and ethical considerations surrounding AI co-scientists. They acknowledged that this technology is still in its early stages and emphasized the need for human oversight.
It's not about replacing human scientists, but rather giving them a powerful tool to augment their capabilities.
Exactly. The researchers stressed that AI should be used to enhance human intelligence, not to make us obsolete.
Makes sense. After all, it's human scientists who ultimately interpret results, design experiments, and make those crucial leaps of scientific intuition that drive innovation.
Absolutely. And they also acknowledge the potential for bias in AI algorithms. They emphasize the need for diverse and representative data sets to train these models.
So ensuring that the AI is exposed to a wide range of perspectives and doesn't inherit any pre-existing biases.
Exactly. And they also highlighted the importance of transparency and explainability in AI systems. In other words, we need to understand how these AI models are making their decisions and ensure that those decisions are based on sound scientific principles.
Right. It's not just about getting the right answer. It's about understanding how the AI arrived at that answer. And ensuring that the process is valid and reliable.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The researchers were very clear that AI should not be seen as a replacement for rigorous scientific methodology and critical thinking. It's a tool to enhance our capabilities, not to replace them.
Okay, so with all that said, what's the big takeaway? What does this all mean for the future of science?
This paper gives us a glimpse into a future where AI is an integral part of the scientific process. It's a future where AI and human intelligence work hand in hand to unlock new knowledge and solve the world's most pressing problems.
Big exciting prospect, but one that requires careful consideration of the ethical and societal implications.
Absolutely. As we develop more powerful AI tools, we need to ensure that they're used responsibly and ethically, always with human oversight.
This paper is clearly a call to action for the scientific community to start thinking about how to best integrate AI into research while addressing the potential challenges. But for now, let's shift gears and dive into the specific ways this AI co-scientist is already making waves in biomedicine.
Sounds like a plan. We'll explore the exciting applications of this AI co-scientist in drug discovery, personalized medicine, and even the fight against infectious diseases.
Welcome back to AI Paper Podcast. We've really gone deep on this paper, exploring the inner workings of this AI co-scientist, its remarkable achievements in those real-world experiments, and even the ethical considerations. But now I'm curious, what does this all mean for the future of science?
It's a glimpse into a world where AI isn't just a tool, but a genuine partner in scientific discovery. We're talking about a paradigm shift, not just automation.
So more than just speeding up the things scientists already do, it's about unlocking entirely new ways of doing science.
Exactly. Imagine a future where AI systems aren't just analyzing data, but designing and conducting experiments autonomously, interpreting results, and maybe even writing those papers we all love and sometimes dread.
Whoa, hold on. AI writing papers. That raises some interesting questions, right? Like, if an AI is doing so much of the heavy lifting and research, who gets credit? How do we handle authorship and intellectual property in this new landscape?
Those are crucial questions. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface. As AI becomes more deeply integrated into science, we'll need to rethink a lot of our existing systems and norms. It's not just about the technology itself, but the societal and ethical implications that come with it.
It's almost like we're on the verge of a scientific renaissance, powered by AI. But like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or for bad. So how do we ensure that this AI revolution in science benefits humanity as a whole?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there are no easy answers. But one thing is clear. We need open and honest dialogue involving everyone, not just scientists, but policymakers, ethicists, and the public too. This can't be a conversation that happens in a vacuum.
This paper focuses on biomedical research, but I imagine the ripple effects will be felt across all scientific disciplines, right? From astronomy to climate science to material science. The possibilities seem endless.
Absolutely. Think about AI systems analyzing telescope data to discover new exoplanets, modeling climate change scenarios with incredible precision, or designing materials with properties we can't even imagine yet. It's mind-boggling.
It's both thrilling and a bit daunting to think about, isn't it? All this potential, but also the responsibility to ensure we use this power wisely.
Right. At the end of the day, AI is a tool. And like any tool, its impact depends on the humans wielding it. We need to be the guiding force, the ethical compass, ensuring that AI is used for good, advancing knowledge-solving problems, and making the world a better place.
Well said. This paper has certainly given us a lot to chew on, a glimpse into a future where the lines between human and artificial intelligence and science become increasingly blurred. It's exciting, it's challenging, and it demands that we as a society have some serious conversations about where we want this technology to take us.
And that's a perfect note to end on. Towards an AI co-scientist is more than just a research paper. It's a call to action. As AI becomes more powerful and more pervasive in science, what role will we as humans play in shaping its trajectory? Food for thought, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI co-scientists. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those AI algorithms in check.